9. Installing the GPS antenna feeder. Both BSCB and BTSB need to be installed with the GPS antenna and feeder. The GPS antenna receives navigation positioning signaling data from the GPS satellite, and the GPS signaling receiver demodulates the frequency and clock signals, providing them to the BSCB, BTSB and other relevant units as the reference for clocks and frequencies. The GPS antenna should be installed at a location with a clear and open skyward view so that the antenna can detect the most possible number of satellites. A safe location on top of a building or under an iron tower is preferable. The GPS feeder cable should be as short as possible to minimize attenuation. A safe location refers to lightning protection for the GPS antenna. The GPS antenna should be installed with a 45 degrees protection angle to the lightning rod. Otherwise, the client should install a dedicated lightning rod for the GPS antenna. Cut the GPS coaxial cable according to the installation locations of the BSCB, BTSB and the GPS arrestor, and the installation from the GPS lightning arrestor to the GPS antenna. Build the cable connector as now described. Making feeder connectors. Strip 16.7 mm of shielded wire on the GPS coaxial cable and then strip 6.2 mm of core wire on the shielded wire. Assemble the nut, crimping cover and bushing for the GPS feeder connector on the cable. Grasp the conductor pin using the crimping pliers, put tin wire into the pin, use an electric iron to weld the tin wire, and insert the cable core wire into the welded tin wire to weld the pin with the cable core wire. Put on the insulating tip. After welding the core, install the parts to the case and fasten them. The connector at the other end can be made in the same way. After making the connectors at both ends, use a multimeter to measure the conductivity of the GPS feeder line. Both ends of the core wire are conductive to each other and the shielded wire is conductive to the shielded wire. Core wire is not conductive to the shielded wire. Insert the outdoor connector of the GPS coaxial cable through the GPS accessory tube and screw it onto the GPS antenna connector. Holding the GPS antenna steady, screw the tube onto the GPS antenna. Fix the tube onto the pole with fixing calipers. Connect the other end to the in interface of the GPS lightning arrestor. Connect the cable between the GPS lightning arrestor and the cabinet to the out interface of the GPS arrestor and the GPS interface of the equipment.